There we go. I definitely had to get the bloody ad block on that because that was bad. Okay, okay. I'm gonna move over to this side, and then I'm gonna do this. And here we are. Political ideologies tier list. This is the community rankings. Um, so this is pretty shit. It's absolutely an absolute fucking disgrace that Marxism, social democracy, and democratic socialism are as high as they are. It's very interesting that classical liberalism is the highest of all of these, because classical liberalism isn't necessarily democratic. So this is interesting. It's interesting that like the fourth tier is bad tier. There's only 4 very good ideologies. Kind of interesting. Oh, no. Go to template. Go to template. Is there a button that forces all of them out? Because bloody hell, this is annoying. Random wheel? No. No, fuck off. Fuck off. Wait, what the fuck happened? Why the fuck did I do that? Go back, you prick. Oh, okay. It opened a new bloody, new window for that. It was annoying. Gamera? What does that even mean? I see Hitler. He is on this. Explain each one. I don't know them. That might take a little bit of a while. I'll get to him. It's the button on the bottom. The save it down. Reset. Hey, okay. It actually does work. That's good. And I guess we're gonna go in in order here. Just alphabetical order. It's gonna be pretty shit. It's kind of interesting. The colors that they've chosen for all of these. The brown is interesting. So that's got to be pretty interesting. Anyway, we're gonna start off. Agorism. I've heard of agorism, but it's not like so. All right, I'm gonna tier these out properly. Oh, Control B does things. C, D, F, and never heard of. That's how we're gonna do this. This is how we're gonna do this. Why do they have individual colors? I think it's just because of like they're marking what the like general ideology is. So you can see the yellow ones are like yeah, they're like I suppose like right-wing libertarian ones. I think so. Just generally. The brown ones are like fascist-ish. Like I think they're all fascist in some kind of a way. They're highly authoritarian, let's say. The black ones are like left anarchism. The pink ones are feminist. The red ones are fucking commies. Like yeah, just leftist. And then the greens are like anti-human. Basically, they're like very environmentally focused, and so we mentioned George earlier, so that's him. I don't know what the purple is. There's only one purple on all of this, and I don't even know what it is, so we can just immediately put that in never heard of. It's probably something decently based. I don't know. But we're gonna go alphabetically here. I hope the Unabomber is on here. Yes. Primitivism. I don't know if I don't think that's actually the Unabomber. The Ted Kaczynski looks very different from that bloke. But yes, he's on here. Primitivism. That's him. What do each tier mean? So everything on S tier, this is the best tier in comparison to all of the others. Everything on S tier is better than everything else in the other tiers. That's basically what each tier is for, is that this is better than this is better than this. That's kind of what tier means. Like that's kind of the funny thing about like naming all of the tiers on Tier Maker. It's literally just like iDubbbz that made this happen, because he made like a single tier list. It, like, just started this entire thing. I think it was iDubbbz. I see John Lennon W. Only a fool would say that. Okay, so we got agorism. I don't know much about agorism. Guys, I don't know if I could tell you what it is the issue. Do I put it in never heard of or don't know enough? At a row above, let's do a do another here. Like 2 shades of gray. No, that's the same shade of gray. Gotta do like just the ignorance tier. I don't know. Yeah. Not enough information. I'm gonna put them on that because I don't I don't know enough about agorism. I know they're anarchists and they rely on... Actually, do I know enough? I think... I think I am going to assume that I know enough about those. So, agorism... I guess we'll start out with B tier. So, agorism is, like... anarcho-cap... actually, I am going to look it up because it's, like... I was recently looking this up. Libertarian anti-state philosophy advocating for a society based on voluntary exchange. The Agora. Oh, okay. Achieved through counter-economics. Participating in grey and black markets to make the state irrelevant. Okay, okay. And that's the founder of it right there. Okay, okay. That's got to be at least A tier. That sounds pretty based. Agrarianism. So that's... It predates Jefferson, but Jefferson was an agrarian... it's free market capitalism without industrial concentration. It's got a little bit more state in it than normally, but like I think it's got to be pretty good. Probably A tier, because it's probably not as good as agorism, which just wants the state to dissolve. Unless I'm wrong about it, but like that makes me think of Jeffersonianism, like agrarian. There was a term, Jeffersonian agrarian capitalism, I think is what it's called. Alt-right's got to be pretty shit. Definitely got to be pretty shit. Anarcho-feminism, and what's interesting is the other ones that have anarcho in them, like you can clearly see that. Anarcha is an intentional choice here, and I think it's because they thought it was gendered or something like that, which is automatically just fucking hilarious. I probably shouldn't have moved myself to this corner. Have I got enough room on this side? Yeah, I think I'll go here. That's probably a good idea. Anarcho-feminism. Well, it's anarchy, which is good, but it's feminism, which is shit. So we're gonna have to go... That makes it pretty mid, doesn't it? Because feminism is shit, but anarchy is pretty neat. It's... yeah, it's probably around a C or something like that. Because it's like... yeah, I don't know. That's kind of difficult. Anarcho-capitalism, got to go to the very top, obviously. Not much to say about that, frankly. Let's actually give a couple of more, because I skipped over some definitions there. Alt-right is very ill-defined in the the popular sense. It's basically it means alternative right. It means that there were people, there's the mainstream right, and there were people on the right who were like, we want an alternative right, who were still on the right, but we are like racist. We want to create like a society, a race-based society. So it's like collectivist. What is it called? What is it called? Let me bring up the political triangle here. It's like, what is it? Absolutism. This one. There it is. It's like right-wing absolutism in a way. The right and left is kind of useless in this sense, but I like the political triangle. It seems pretty useful, honestly, because it's pro hierarchy, but it has a racial element to it. So it's like it may or may not be socialist. It really depends on the situation, but yeah. Pirate politics, just search that one up after you're done. Yeah, see, I wanted to go pirate politics, pirate party. There's a label adopted by various political parties worldwide that share a set of values and policies focus on civil rights in the digital age. The fundamental principles of pirate parties include copyright reform, dismantling copyright monopolies, patent reform, strengthening civil rights, including government transparency, right to privacy, anonymity, freedom of speech, secrecy of correspondence, principle of subsidiarity, respect for the highest standards of democracy. So they have a lot of things in common with me, but also a little bit shit. We're probably going to put that above anarcho-feminism because it's not collectivist, at least. At least not inherently collectivist. Anything with feminism in the name is inherently collectivist because it's assuming that women deserve this particular attention, and it's, I mean, as far as as far as ideologies go, as far as like well, yeah, anything like that, like if your principles entirely surround the differences between the sexes, it's like it's kind of missing the fucking point, isn't it? Blah blah blah, buzzword. Well, I suppose so. Is this, if that's what it sounds like to you, then I guess, like, you know, anything politically oriented is going to sound a little bit like that. Is that Charlie Kirk? Where? I guess we'll get to it. But I want to be dominated by women. That's not what feminism entails, though. You could have a femdom without having that. Because feminism is this magical thing where women are simultaneously victims and also like powerful. They get to play both sides at the same time. It's like, okay, pick a lane. You can either be pathetic or you could be, you know, egoistic and based, but Google Play Store logo, where? Anyway, anarcho-communism has got to be pretty fucking shit, but probably not as bad as some of the others that'll end up in the F tier. Anarcho-syndicalism also got to be pretty shit, but not as bad as anarcho-communism. Syndicalists, kind of gross. Authoritarian conservatism. This is a good question. I'm not certain who they've listed there. But I may have to put that because it's inherently authoritarian, so I don't know how, like, if I would rather have it authoritarian on, it's probably around the same level there, because it's like you've got like two very collectivist ideologies, but they're collectivist in the same, in a anti-state sense, so it's like, I guess that's all right, because insofar as well, I don't know. They're just they're not founded upon the same principles as something based like anarcho-capitalism. It's like the people matter more than the individual. Therefore, no. Oh no. It's because that's more of a conclusion that like the fundamental principle of anarchism is that like you've got no leaders. That's like left anarchism is just no rulers, whereas anarcho-capitalism is it's no it's not just no rulers, it's voluntarism. It's a free society where no single person. Oh, right, because it's like there's a difference between being ruled over and like consensually entering into like a free association with somebody who also like has more power than you, just by dint of the fact that they have more shit. Like, anyway. What is syndicalism? Syndicalism is... Oh, yeah, I haven't defined any of these. Anarcho-syndicalism is... it's basically what happens in Oryx and Crake, where you've got loads of... so that anarcho meaning anarchy, there is no state, there are no rulers. Syndicalism meaning that you form these syndicates, and that's effectively just cartels. Like that's basically it. So they're not states, but they're like tiny little micro democracies that fight for hegemony effectively. So it's like loads of worker, loads of guilds that get together and then like form a micro state effectively. Though it's not a state technically for some reason. I don't know exactly why it. How they justify it. Left anarchism is a different idea entirely than just a consent-based ethic. That's basically anarcho-capitalism, a consent-based ethic. You know, you can consent to selling your labor, but you know, no one is permitted to force anybody else to do anything against their own will. So some people are naturally going to be more wealthy, and some people are going to have businesses, and those businesses are going to have all sorts of consensual relationships that they can enter into people with in regards to employing them, in regards to selling certain goods and services. But it's not... What is it? That nobody has the right to kill somebody just because they're rich. But whereas syndicalism is like, no, the moment that you have more than me, you're oppressing me, which is a kind of... I can't say that word. It's a bit stupid, isn't it? Which political ideology would Wings of Fire land be? Wings of Fire lies somewhere in absolutism, so they... it's probably Ancien Regime. That's like absolute bullshit. I did not know how to say that, but it's monarchism effectively. It's maybe it's somewhere between here and there where it's tribe. Though I don't know exactly, because it's Darwinism. Competition leads to progress. Winners get rewarded and go on to create more success, while losers have to reinvent themselves or vanish. It's like a little bit closer to that, probably a little bit further this direction. So it's not like tribalism, but it's definitely got a monarchy and a collection of monarchies. So you've got several states, and they rule over each other, but they're also tribes. Yeah. That sounds about right. And there's some pretty shitty politics that's just inherent to having rulers in and of itself. But AI viewers, I didn't even see that. Syndic, exactly. Which political ideology... Oh yeah, I already read that. Social democracy versus democratic socialism? What? Did you read that in here or something like that? Both of those are shit, but anyway, we'll get to it. But anarcho-communism is the same sort of idea, where it's there is no state, but communes arise, and anytime anybody is rich, they are permitted to, and this is one of the legal norms, is they are just permitted to fucking kill them, which is evil and shit. So it's like, oh, anarchy, meaning there are no rulers. That's pretty cool. But insofar as it's consensual, then it's legal to form a commune. But the moment that somebody else has more success than you does not permit you to just murder them, especially and it's another flavor of wrong if you do it via a mob, right? So it's just very shite overall. But because it's anarchist, it's got to go above the F tier. That's where like all of the dregs go. Centrism, probably better. Well, to be centrist, you've got to be directly in the middle of C. So, Christian democracy. Well, it's got democracy in the name, and it's got a Christianity in it, which is like, Christianity has some decent ideas. I'm probably gonna put that like above anarcho-feminism, but but it's anarchist though. That's a tough one. It's not as shit as these, but it's probably more shit than the rest of them. Civic nationalism. Never heard of that one. Don't know what that is. Classical conservatism. This is the one. What's his name? Oh, what's his name? Who's the classical conservative guy? Edmund Burke. That's the one. I thought Edmund Burke was pretty cool listening to him. He's got some pretty decent ideas, but conservatives still love the state. So I think the basis of the ideas has the ability to progress past statism in many ways. So it's not as bad as these ones, but it's not good by any stretch of the imagination. Classical fascism's got to go pretty fucking low. I think because this is the interesting thing. So the classical left-right continuum of pro-status quo, pro-hierarchy versus anti-status quo, anti-hierarchy. I reckon I used to fall on one side or the other of that, but I kind of swung around it because I didn't really I don't know, but point being, I think pro-hierarchy in sort of a romantic sense, as in you admire someone who is good at what they do, and seek to learn from them, is a better ethic than just I hate you because you're all doing better than me, and actually being to the left when there were absolute monarchies and tyrants and despots was a very different thing than than what is it? Then just I completely lost my train of thought there. So fascism is collectivism that embraces the hierarchy, but also often it embraces a racial hierarchy that in the form of Nazism. So it's embracing the hierarchy in a sense is good, but it's not good per se, right? So it's especially when it's collectivist, and and which is why it's authoritarian. It's explicitly because it's collectivist. So it's like, you know, democracy is fascism in that sense. It's just less aggressive, generally speaking. But I don't know. If you look at Europe nowadays, it's pretty damn aggressive. So, oh, by the way, Wings of Fireland, you've completely forgotten. It's called Pyra. A Pyria. I actually never heard anybody say it out loud. But anyway, classical liberalism got to be an A tier, definitely. It's got to be up there. It's the founding philosophy, broadly speaking, of America, of the United States of America, and it's a pretty fucking good one, I reckon. It's pretty good. Now, it's not as good as agorism because it's still statist, in many ways, but this was laying the groundwork for you know, objectivist, anarcho-capitalist, anarcho-objectivist, which is what I am, frame of mind. It was laying the groundwork for that, and unfortunately, it's America has strewn pretty far from the original intentions, the original classical liberal roots. You know, what it meant to actually be a liberal back in the day, which is unfortunate, but you know, it's still pretty good. Communalism, don't know what that is. Deep ecology, don't know what that is. De-Leonism, don't know what that is. Democratic socialism's got to be down here in F tier, because it's democratic and democracy is shit, and it's socialist, which is also shit. So it's just double shit. Now, it doesn't have the racial elements of these. Probably, I actually would have to put classical fascism above the alt-right, because, like, Mussolini didn't, maybe I could be wrong, but Mussolini does not, like, as far as I recall, like, he was more focused on sort of a nationalist, collectivist sense of, like, this nation needs to, you know, be great or whatever. So of course you would do this. What do you mean, Rooster? What do you mean, of course I would do this? What do you mean? But, like, yeah, Mussolini didn't quite have the racial nastiness that that the Nazis had, and that the alt-right kind of seeks to bring back. So, like, it's got to be a little bit better than that. So that's probably a good idea. But maybe it just wasn't as pronounced. Maybe I don't know as much about classical fascism as a la Mussolini, because fascism has kind of been absorbed by the fascism a la Mustache Man. So it's like I could be required to plead ignorance on that one, but, like, I'm pretty sure the alt-right is, like, explicitly just, like, racially collectivist, which is shite, and it's been shite. And I've got a video up on YouTube from, like, bloody 7 years ago about how shite it is. I don't know if it's any good. I think I made that video in DaVinci Resolve over the course of, like, 3 days or something like that. It was, like, the fastest video I ever made, and then I never made another video again, because fuck it. Someone of your background. What does that mean? What do you mean, you people? What do you mean, you people? Come off it. We'll have your hands tied up with all that. Yeah, evidently. Please tell me you get my reference. No. I don't think I do. Have your hands tied up with all that? No, I don't know. Distributism, never heard of it. Eco-capitalism. Let's think about this. So it's about, it's probably going to be right below, probably right around there, because it's environment. My girlfriend is probably pretty friendly to a lot of these ideas, actually. But it's like, because it's capitalist, meaning that, you know, you've got the voluntary free society, consenting individuals, you're capable of selling your labor, free association and all that, but it's also the underlying premise that man ought not to be the priority over his environment, because rather than man shaping his environment to his needs, he ought to conform to the environment or preserve it as such in some sort of a sense, or expend a certain amount of of resources in order to save the environment in a way. But the thing is with eco-capitalism, like it can kind of work with this. It's just got, because it's like, if you're anarcho-capitalism, then an eco-capitalist could be like, okay, I'm all cool with the free association. I don't really I'm a little bit concerned that I can't use the state to preserve the environment, but I could also use my capital, my resources, to buy up a certain amount of the environment and preserve it myself, and set about doing that. And I can also fundraise, and I can also use it as a good and a service in in the capitalistic landscape. So I can do that. It's like, oh yeah, you can do that, absolutely. But I think the underlying premise that all things considered, it's probably going to be up here with classical conservatism, because it's like a little bit there's actually like some decent overlap between these two, but like it's a sort of thing where it's like, that it's not too bad, it's just a little too authoritarian, because it has a state. Anything that's got a state is too authoritarian, right? Princess and the Frog. Oh right, someone of your background. Yeah. I remember that now. Eco-fascism. Yeah, that's got to go like straight to the fucking bottom. Because democratic socialism, eco-socialism, it's the same fucking thing. Like, it's the exact same thing. Because maybe I'm not as familiar with those, but they're probably better than like classical fascism. I don't know, but they're probably on like the same level. Yeah, definitely F tier for certain. Because eco-fascism is like fascism with an ecological focus, an environmental focus, and environmentalism is shit. Eco-fascism is, do I hate socialism more than fascism? Because fascism is socialism. Because it's hard to sort of tier those, because like they're all wrong. It's so hard to like compare against each other. Egoism. This is actually kind of difficult. I probably have to put it up a little bit there, because egoism is an excellent like I'm thinking Nietzsche, right? Not some of the other shitheads. Like egoism is a pretty fantastic thing, and it's part of the basis of objectivism, but not egoism from some of the premises that they come from, because objectivism comes from first principles, from Aristotle. But it's objectivism is rational egoism, and egoism is sort of the foundation of that. It's part of the reason why objectivism is all about selfishness and the virtue thereof. It's in an aesthetic sense, egoism is pretty based. In a, what is it? In a legal sense, it's got some holes in it. Let's leave it at that. Ethnic nationalism's got to be pretty shit. Hard to say if I would place this, because it's ethnic, meaning like racial collectivism, and it's nationalist. I don't know, because nationalism, when I was a statist, I reckon nationalism was actually like a pretty decent idea, because it's like, well, you've got your nation, and your nation worries about your nation's issues, and you got your nation, and you care about your issues, and etc. There was a very interesting person who was like kind of just championing nationalism in a liberal sense, right? Where it's like, you care about your own, and you sort of like leave everybody else alone. sort of an isolationist nationalism was like a decent idea when I was a statist, but now that I'm not a statist, it's like, oh yeah, well, it's just kind of shit from first principles, isn't it? But that's the question. Democratic socialism is... Oh, that's difficult. Because, like, I'm trying to decide which one of these I hate the most. And there's so many premises here that are just absolutely despicable. Because, gosh, it's like, is racial collectivism worse than anti-human, like racial anti-human, like pro-environment, like environment over human at its base principle? Is that worse than... Because I suppose you could say, what is Star Wars, the Republic? It's not much of a republic. It's really a democracy, so it's pretty shit. Yeah, it's pretty shit. Yeah, it's basically, yeah, unitary republic. It's basically somewhere over here, something like that. There's a lot more freedom than if you were here or here. And I think the empire is actually right here. The empire is literally China. Because it's just tyranny. That's it. Very opposite of that. Basically just right there. But I think, yeah, they just basically moved to this from this flavor of shit to this flavor of worse shit. Somehow that's worse, but only because of its distance from here. But the Force is good. Well, yeah, the Force is good, but the Republic is shit. Like, just because the Jedi were irrational in many ways, and that they were, captured to do this democratic, this terrible democratic super state, that doesn't mean that it's not any less shit, right? Like, Jedi are neat, the Force is good, and actually the Force is a kind of a good aesthetic, it aligns with the benevolent universe aesthetic principle of objectivist aesthetics. So it's just so hard to choose this one, though. Ethnic nationalism. I think it might have to go above these two, because like you're embracing a collectivist it's a collectivist ethic, but it's not an anti-human ethic. It's just kind of weird that this is collectivist and anti-human, so that's got to put it lower, because it's like, it's anti-human. It's just, if you think about it, it's anti-human. But if you don't think about it, it's just like, well, I'm a human, and none of the other things that look like humans remotely are technically human. Like, that's what's so brutal, and that's what Ayn Rand said. An ideology for and of brutes. Racial collectivism is so, but it's not anti-human, it's just anti-other humans. So it's kind of weird. Of course, he puts his own in S tier. Yes, that's the point of the fucking tier list. What do you reckon? Georgism. It's basically a semi-stateless society. But land ownership is the it's literally that they're just pushing land ownership is the only tax. So maybe it's... Oh, no, it can't be on the same tier as the rest of these. It's probably just right above centrism. Because centrism is... You know what? I actually have to put pirate politics above centrism, because centrism is very democratic. It's just like, whatever everyone else thinks generally is an aggregate. Centrism is basically just like the fucking put your head down and agree with and nod along with what everybody else says. And unfortunately, Jordan Peterson sort of falls into this category just a little bit. When he talks about Nietzsche, it's like he's up here, right? But then when he talks about, like, you know, when he talks about pragmatism, he ends up getting pulled in the centrist direction. It's like, shut up. It's shite. Green anarchism. I forget if that's... Let's verify this. Green anarchism. Eco-anarchism. Okay. Okay. Deep ecology. Stateless anti-capitalist society viewing the domination of nature as a deeply intertwined with human hierarchies like the state patriarchy and economic exploitation. That sounds pretty fucking shit. So that's got to go on this tier. Let's tier this between these. Now, all of these are pretty much fucking tied. Maybe the syndicalists go a little bit higher because they're at least concerned about being productive in a sense, but it's basically like interchangeable. I guess we'll put it there. Let me look up authoritarian conservatism ideology combining strict traditionalism, hierarchical social values, and strong nationalism with an autocratic government to enforce order. Focuses on preserving traditional institutions, often religious, and suppressing radical movements, distinguishing itself from revolutionary populist nature of fascism. It's just order? I wonder if that makes it better or worse than the rest of these. Gotta be the same tier. That's difficult. That's difficult. Jordan Peterson is my dad. Well, I didn't realize we had I actually forget what his son's name is. The one with feminine goals, as he said. Individualist anarchism, that's basically just this, so kind of just belongs up there. Maybe along with agorism. Probably up on the same tier as that. It's pretty good. Julcha, I don't know who that is. Left libertarianism. Political philosophy that combines a commitment to individual freedom and bodily autonomy with an egalitarian approach to economics and natural resources. Okay, so it's like decent. It's got a good foundation, but it becomes shit in the end. That probably puts it at around the same tier as that. Liberal conservatism definitely got to be higher than classical conservatism because it's this is basically a lot of what American politics has been in many ways. It's like classical conservatism. Oh yeah, and classical conservatism can be summed up by the wall principle, as lined out by Edmund Burke. It's the idea that you come up to a wall in the middle of a field, and say you purchase the field, and one man may say, what is this fence doing here? I'm just going to tear it down and do whatever I want with this. Whereas another man might say, stop. Before I tear this fence down, I'm going to make absolutely certain I know what it's for. It's let's find out if this is good, if it's useful, but not just that, but that it's I will refuse to tear this wall down, and also that I will I will I will prevent anybody else from also doing so until I figure out what the hell it's for, and only once I figure out what it's for and that it is not useful or counterproductive, or it's not needed, will I allow it to be torn down. That's basically what classical conservatism is. Liberal conservatism is just that sort of an idea. It's basically just a classical American politics in many ways. Why do the Republicans call Democrats liberals? Because the term semantically shifted. Because back in the day, liberal literally meant liberty. It means you like liberty. Whereas in the modern sense of the term, it just means that you like it when the government steals a lot of shit from people and gives it to other people. So effectively, liberal means socialists today, which is pretty shite. To the rest of the world, they still think that liberal means that you like liberty. It's just in America in particular, there was a semantic drift from it where it doesn't mean liberal. It means It doesn't mean liberal as in you love liberty. It means liberal as in you liberally love spending other people's money, liberal amounts of other people's money. Liberal. Liberal feminism. Let me just so I know, foundational branch of feminist thought that seeks to achieve gender equality through political and legal reform rather than revolution. Probably a little bit below anarcho-feminism, because it's collectivist, but it's not violently collectivist like some of these are. Like, these are not anarchism properly understood. Actually, let's look up anarcho-feminism. Combines anarchist philosophy with feminist principles. It sounds so shit. It sounds half shit, at least. Viewing patriarchy as a fundamental form of involuntary coercive hierarchy that must be abolished alongside the state and capitalism. See, it's so funny that anarchism is all about, like, we need to get rid of capitalism, which is literally just the free market. It's literally just the free association of people trading. That's literally what it is. Anti-hierarchy is not a good place to begin. You're a place that... Yeah, difficult, but Luxemburgism, don't know what that is. Maoism. Maoism's got to go, like, straight to the fucking bottom, right? Because there was the anti-status quo, like, Cultural Revolution. They were destroying years worth of history in of ancient China, because they think they're such geniuses that they can just replace it with whatever they wish, so they can engineer the next society of obedient state followers. Absolutely despicable. Hatred of the good as such, it's got that. It's got absolute collectivism at every single level, but it's not racist. That's the funny bit. It's not racist. It's a class, because, okay, that's the only difference between fascism and, like, hardcore communism, is that it's like, Marxism and Maoism is basically just an implementation of Marxism. It's like, you prioritize and you privilege it's a class-based dichotomy rather than a race-based or heritage-based. Like, that's the fascist prioritizes the race or the nation per se, whereas and in an ancestral sense in many ways, whereas the I don't know, at least like, this is a difficult sentence, I suppose, but, like, at least fascists have the wisdom, or perhaps the bizarre, like, what is it, like, devotion to what came before, because they're not so foolish as to just completely do away with it and to just despise it as such. I I don't know, like, being able to respect what is bigger than you is kind of important. I don't know, it's got to go straight to the bloody bottom, though, so definitely near the bottom, but it's not as, oh, that's difficult. Like, this is not hatred for the good as such, is the difficult bit. That might be part of why it belongs, because they're just two different brands of collectivism. How do I, like, choose which is worse out of the two of them? No hatred of the good as such is probably gonna put it a little bit higher, because, like, I don't know, it's just entirely despicable. You could probably also look at this as the tier list of, like, how many people have been killed by it. Well, I don't know. I suppose that requires an ideological framing. Libtard, exactly. Oh, hopefully the censorship bots didn't hear that one. Hopefully they didn't quite understand it. Rain, are you a son of anarchy? I don't know what that means. Anarchy is getting rid of capitalism. Then how anarcho-capitalism work? Yeah, that's the entire question. Because some people think some people's definition, and classical anarchy's definition, is anti-hierarchies as such. But if you define it as literally no rulers, then there's a voluntary society where some people are ruling over their own property, and they've got more than you have, and so they're up a hierarchy. Yup, it got flagged for hate speech and hateful behavior. Get fucking fucked. I didn't realize that it'd actually be able to tell about anything about that. So the AI is pretty powerful, isn't it? Mao Zedong, yes, very evil man indeed. Paleoconservatism, that's called dinosaur fossil museums. I mean, that'd be pretty cool if it was just entirely about preserving the field of paleontology. See, it's based, actually. It's based. I see the golden ones are very high. Yes, I'm a liberal. Liberal. Marxism, Leninism, gotta be straight to the fucking bottom. It's got to be, like, neck and neck with Maoism, probably interchangeable. Marxism definitely got to be at the very bottom. Like, they're all interchangeable, really. They're all different forms of it. Marxist feminism, it's shit, but because it's hatred of the good as such, and collectivist along the sexual alignment. So, branch of feminist theory that analyzes how capitalism exploits women through private property and uncompensated domestic labor. They just don't even know what they mean by exploitation. Exploitation is when I consensually agree to taking a wage. When I consensually when I consent to sell my labor. That's just exploitation. Fucking hell. Marxist feminism, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Because it's collectivist, it's got to be, like, right along these lines. It's hatred of the good as such. Is that worse or better than being anti-human? It's the same thing, though. Like, these are all interchangeable. I don't know. It's difficult. Monarchism. It's better than all democracies. Better than all democracies by default. Probably below Georgism, which is kind of insane to think about, but, like, it's still better than all of these other collectivist, shite ones. Mutualism. Isn't it along the same lines as the others? Symbiotic relation. Oh, right. Anarchist school of thought and economic theory advocating for a society based on worker control of production, free markets, and equitable exchange. If you have worker control of production, then it's not necessarily a free market, because workers don't know jack shit about actually investing in things. and inevitably it ends up in just cartels, and cartels are shit. Unions are cartels, and cartels are shit. There you go. Probably right alongside anarcho-syndicalism. Probably all of these probably end up in like the same place, right? Green anarchism, yeah, eco-anarchism, yeah, I looked up that before. Just wanted to verify. National Bolshevism, it's the best of both worlds. Hatred of the good for, you know, as such. But there's not even a racial collectivism, though, is it? It's a, yeah, Nazbols. Fucking... It's all of these are interchangeable at this point. It's pretty shit. National capitalism is the exact same fucking thing. Is that Pinochet? I think it may be. I think it is. Golden is high, black is mixed high, green is mixed low, red is low, brown is low. Yep, that's right. Sounds about right. National syndicalism, gotta be just as fucking shit as the rest of these. Nazism, gotta be right down here, and it's yeah, it's better than these because there's no hatred of the good as such. There's a little bit of egoism in there, but it's not rational whatsoever. It's just kind of a flavor around the edges because they had slight influences by Nietzsche, but Nietzsche was also completely distorted by what was it, Nietzsche's sister? Completely just distorted the entire idea. But it's also the alt-right is slightly better than Nazism because they didn't kill as many people yet. I guess we'll have a look at that. Blue is mixed, yes indeed. Blue sort of deserves to be mixed. Neoclassical liberalism. This is like what Ben Shapiro wishes he was, right? Traditional classical liberal commitments to free markets and economic liberty with a modern focus on social justice. Argues that stringent protection of negative economic liberties benefits the most vulnerable and provides an empirical, morally ambitious framework for self-authorship. That is pretty fucking based. But probably... yeah, it's probably better than... It's probably like right up there, actually. Because it's statist. But it's not too badly statist. I feel like that I should split this into the statists and the anti-statists. Like these could probably belong in their own separate tier, but I don't think I'll bump them up. Neoconservatism, it's got to be pretty fucking shit. Yeah, it probably belongs here. That tier's getting a little bit crowded here. Neoliberalism. Is this the other shit one? Free market capitalism, deregulation, free trade, privatization, and minimal state intervention in the economy. It emphasizes individual liberty, competition, and shifting the provision of public goods to the private sector. That's Milton Friedman right there. Got to be better. Neocons... Ooh, actually, neocons belong much further along the line here. Yeah. Possibly down here, because neocons are let's verify. Emerged in the U.S. during the 60s and 70s. Conservative values with an assertive interventionist foreign policy. Yeah, that's shit. Promoting democracy and national interest. Yeah, that's shit. Strong military, free markets, proactive, sometimes preemptive international action. Yes, that would be the three-legged stool. I feel like paleoconservatism. They put Ronald Reagan as the face of that. I'm pretty sure he's not a fucking paleoconservative. He's more of a neoconservative. So that's interesting. Objectivism got to be right up at the top. Obviously, just 100% the greatest ideology ever composed, ever constructed, the greatest philosophical system ever derived by man, was also derived by a woman. but derived by man, that's basically what that means. Gets its roots back all the way from Aristotle, and that's from first principles. Aristotle, completely pops the Descartes bubble. It's not I think therefore I am. It's it is therefore it is. A is a, bloody wonderful primary. Reality is as such, and reality can be known, can be integrated, reverse engineered, explored, derived, and rational principles can be derived from existence per se. It's bloody fantastic. Minimal state, though, if she had any sort of a legal theory, because she was not a legal theorist, then she would have realized that that politics is not a valid field of philosophy. But she never really studied legal theory. But the roots of objectivism being the primacy of existence is precisely where you end up with anarcho-objectivism, just a completely consenting society, a freely consenting society, where the only things you're not permitted to do are things that are violations of the rights of others. Bloody fantastic, bloody bass. I just realized my mini fridge was open. It's been open since I cracked it open a bit ago. Where does Eric Andre land? I have no idea. Where does water make the turn the friggin' frogs gay? Alex Jones. Goodness, it's difficult. I think he may be an anarchist in many ways. In 2012, he was certainly an anarchist, but I think a lot of this pro-Trump, pro-nationalist stuff is a little bit. I'm not certain if he's here or he's definitely not here. Yeah, neocons are all the way over there. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm not quite certain where he would be. Alex Jones' political ideology. Prolific, see, because it's far-right radio host, media personality, and prolific anti-government conspiracy theorist. It's that makes him decently anarchist in many ways. Far-right and populist. Strong elements of extreme populism and right-wing nationalist sentiment. Well, because he's nationalist, but not in the sense that he doesn't want the government to have a lot of power. Because I don't know, it's kind of interesting. Anti-globalism, yes. Focuses rhetoric on fighting a perceived new world order. Paleoconservatism and constitutionalism. Described himself as a paleoconservative and an aggressive constitutionalist, claiming to champion traditional American values against modern political shifts. So I guess you could say he's paleocon. But paleocons, where's paleocons are over here. Pat Buchanan. Yeah, he's probably somewhere over here. He may be a little bit more this direction than yeah, something like that. I think Ben Shapiro is right here. He's paleo-libertarian nearly, but he's between paleo-libertarian and neocon. He's right in between, right in there. Though I think he could certainly be convinced in this direction in many ways. But he's got some a couple of decently collectivist theory, what do you call it? Priors, let's say. Paleoconservatism, it's probably got to go like below neoconservatism. That's difficult because like no, it's got to go higher because it's more liberal, just a little bit. Primitivism, got to be straight to F tier. It's hatred of productivity as such. Like there's a bit of a hatred of the good as such. It's inherently anti-human, and it's anti-human before it's any of these other things. So it's got to go below all of the racists, because the racists, or the nationalists rather, because the nationalists at least believe that a certain that there are people, and that, you know, there's pro-human insofar as it's humans like me, but this is just anti-human through and through. So like being pro-human in a way that is, I don't know, it's difficult to tier it, because it's like, if you're anti-human, it's difficult. But primitivism got to be it's got to be it's got to be down there. Yeah, it's definitely got to be down here. No, because yeah, it's definitely down at the very fucking bottom, because it's hatred of the good as such. It's hatred of human thriving as such. These guys would be like, oh yeah, I kind of love human thriving insofar as it's the poor people who are thriving. Those poor people who I feel so sorry for. In other words, we could just like kill everybody else who's not doing as badly as them, and then everybody's going to be starving soon, right? These eventually lead to this if they have any sort of success. They either lead to this, or if they devolve into I guess any system can turn into anything, but radical conservatism, the political ideology that combines traditional conservative values such as national sovereignty, cultural homogeneity. Who says, though? Like, who gets to say that? That's my issue with this. Is it's like, yeah, I understand the benefits of it, but who gets to say that? Who gets to say that everybody has to be the same, culturally speaking? And social hierarchy, with a revolutionary radical desire to dismantle established liberal institutions and norms. It often operates as a populist movement against global elites, pushing a return to traditionalism through abrupt structural change. Probably right alongside these, because the only reason these are not in the lower tier or at the bottom of this own tier is because they're also anarchists. Makes it a bit difficult. Where does Martin Luther King Jr. land? He's a hardcore democracy lover, so he's a little bit shite. But he's also egalitarianism in I don't know. He's still a collectivist, but it was more about like about class than race. And he was the entire reason that that America could like at least begin to get over racial collectivism in some senses. It's all the Marxists that are fucking that up, because the Marxists see racism as something that's actually very useful. But like, I don't know. Eventually, when you mix this in with that, then you end up with something that looks like this, except in the anti-status quo direction, which is pretty cringe. So he's probably somewhere around here, because a lot of what he was championing was pretty good, but he did have a lot of Marxist poison in his system, so that does make it difficult. Yeah, radical feminism, it's gotta be pretty shit. foundational branch of the feminist movement that identifies patriarchy as a fundamental root of women's oppression. There's so many wrong principles with that. So many bad priors there. Believing society must be fundamentally restructured to eliminate male supremacy. It's like male supremacy doesn't fucking exist. That's not a thing. Males are not supreme in this society, and it's not exactly the case that happened like historically, classically either. It's just there were different spheres in which women were involved. I never got like a recording of it, but I debated a feminist on TikTok, just really trying to effectively say that, like, why, well, because the entire prompt was, you know, I'm a feminist, feminism, if you disagree, then join the live. And so I joined it, and it's kind of funny because some people would only go on for like 15 minutes or so, maybe less than that, like 5 to 10 minutes or something. But then I like hogged it for like the last hour, and I think it's probably because like we probably just had like similar IQ or something like that, and so we had a very interesting conversation. It was before I was really getting into objectivism, so I had a lot of Petersonian like appreciation of democracy, which was kind of shit. But like the main point that I was really trying to stress is like, why do you so badly want to identify with the label of feminism when what you're saying can apply to all people equally? And you say that these principles apply to all people equally, then why do you need to focus on women in particular? It's like, oh, women have got these issues that we need to focus. It's like you're saying that you want to prioritize women when it comes to to like how you want your egalitarianism to go forth. But it's more like, it's like, if your fundamental principles were egalitarian, then you wouldn't have to worry about any particular group of people. That's kind of the difference between a sort of a like a fairness, like a collectivism of this sort, where it's just like this twisted and warped sense of what exploitation and justice is. Versus one that is like racially based, because, or just immutable characteristics based. It's a collectivism that has more to do about what you are than who you are, or how you're doing, which is, you know, this is all about how you're doing. So yeah, it was an interesting sort of conversation, because it's like you just can't really get them to step away from that idea. But I went on the Discord after that because people were encouraging me to join the Discord, and it was pretty shit, let's say. It was like absolute fucking shit. Because like, it's not just like feminists on there, evidently. There were like tons of subjective moral relativists, and it was just absolutely bizarre talking to them. It's like, you know, you're in this feminist server and you believe that rape is a social construct. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, that was absolutely insane. I don't know, it's just absolutely nuts. And it's always difficult when you're trying to have a good conversation with somebody and you just have someone screeching in the background constantly. Just absolute embrace of irrationality entirely. It's like, I'm trying to have an openness conversation here. Shut your mouth. You're a fool, and you deserve to be silenced in shame of your idiocy. But if you had enough IQ to understand you're an idiot, then you wouldn't be speaking right now. Where am I on the Google Play Store logo? Oh, is that what you mean? You're probably somewhere in here, most likely, because you're a normie. Probably somewhere in here. Like, yeah, I mean, like, what form of government do you think is just? That's the question, really. Anyway, radical feminism. It believes absolute bullshit about how humanity works, how a sexually dimorphic species work, how rationality came to be in the first place. It's like if you don't understand the origins of rationality, if you understand the origins of rationality, if you understand the origins of consciousness, then you absolutely cannot be a feminist in the sense that you believe that women are inherently oppressed, or that men have always been rulers, that there's this male supremacy. It's like you absolutely don't understand a thing about anything if that's what you reckon, right? So it's more about like their what do you call it? Their metaphysics needs a lot of work, like significant amount of work, because like if you go into metaphysics, you realize that that the entire sexual dichotomy really doesn't apply like at all to the nature of consciousness and the nature of rights. So there's no point in bringing in feminism into it. It's like, okay, but there's like inequality or something. There's just never any sort of like base principle. It's just it's entirely reactionary. That's part of the issue with feminism per se. It's just entirely reactionary. It's probably got to go below these ones, because the only reason these are as high as they are is because the means by which they do things means that I can at least get along with, more so than the rest of these. Their end goals are just as evil, but no, just as foolish. I don't know. I don't even know if I'd say that feminism is no. Feminism is evil because it's irrational. The lack of rationality within feminism is what makes it evil, because irrationality is inherently evil. It's evasion through and through. Rather than deciding that, well, I'm upset about what I'm seeing in the world, and I'm upset about the way that I'm treated as a woman for being a woman, and not realizing that the reason you dislike that is because you're not being seen as you're being seen as what you are rather than who you are. Maybe if you had realized that and integrated and understood and explored those principles better, then you wouldn't just be railing against the man, as it were. Like, maybe you would actually have embraced some more individualist principles, and maybe you could have ended up in based land over here. But no. Right libertarianism, let's see, probably higher than left libertarianism. Unfettered free market capitalism, absolute private property rights, and extreme individual autonomy. That's basically anarcho-capitalism here. Dismantle the modern welfare state based and drastically minimize or eliminate government intervention in both the economy and personal lives. So it's not quite anarchist, but it's pretty based, so it's got to be right up there. Because it's basically saying whatever the state... these are basically the same thing, so basically interchangeable. Social conservatism, let's look up social conservatism. Political ideology focused on preserving traditional moral values, established social structures, and cultural heritage, frequently rooted in religious beliefs, and emphasizes the nuclear family, patriotism, and social order over rapid societal change or more moral relativism. So it's got some based conclusions. Established, yeah, that's basically just like classical right-wingism in general. Probably down here with neoconservatism, probably just around down there. Social democracy, social democracy is shit. But it may not be as shit as some of these other ones. Any anarchy is automatically better than social democracy. It's probably got to go right alongside democratic socialism, because democratic socialism is just we vote in the cringe, and social democracy is just like we don't vote in the cringe because there's no like heavy authoritarianism, but it's red. It belongs in F tier. Let's be real. Social liberalism, It's yellow and it's got an old guy on it, so it's got to be pretty good. Individual liberty and free market capitalism with government intervention to ensure equal opportunity, social justice, and basic standard of living. That's kind of shit. That's actually worse. Wait a minute. Monarchism belongs higher than that. Monarchism is automatically better than this because it's got that's difficult. I just realized, like, you need to put monarchism higher than any democracy, and a lot of these are democracies, so that's actually rough. Anyway, so we've got free market capitalism, but the government fucks around with shit. That's basically just like Democrats. American politics in a nutshell. Probably right below there. Yeah, something like that. Because it's got social in the name, it's got to be pretty low. Stalinism, it's got to be right down at the bottom. Strasserism, definitely going to be right down at the bottom. It's the bloody the law of the jungle ethic. It's like just irrational egoism. But is it as racist as the others? That's the question. Strasserism, dissident far-right ideology based on Nazism, ultranationalism, anti-capitalist, socialist-leaning economic policies. That's pretty shit. Originating in the 1920s Nazi Party, socialist nationalism, anti-Semitic economic view, opposition to Hitler, 1934 Purge, probably died in the Long Night of the Knives. So it's yeah, it's just right there along Nazbol's, right down there. Except it's more racist, so it belongs a little bit lower. So there we go. I believe we should all be turned into furries because they're cute. I reckon if you do that without consent, then you've committed a crime and you should be treated like a criminal should. Sure, I was happy for a time, but I'm loyal to Viltrum based. Viltrumites are Strasserists, basically. I understand what you're saying. My brain is growing. The universe is irrational. No. The universe is the means by which rationality can exist, and by which rationality does, for which rationality exists. I think. Rain hates the color red. True. Why is monarchism better than democracy? Because the monarch is incentivized to lead the greatest legacy that he can. So if he does a shit job, then he's remembered as the one who did a shit job. And he's going to be in power for his entire life. So he doesn't have to worry about... it's not a decivilizing tendency. That's actually part of the reason why all of Western civilization came from what effectively were absolute monarchies at some point in time. It's a civilizing nature because, like, you've got it, and it is irrational and it's not good, and it's unjust in many ways as well. But it's at least not. Okay, so in a democracy, especially one with high term limits, the person who's in charge is not going to be in charge for a very long time. And so they're incentivized to fearmonger to their society, to gain as many votes as they possibly can, because it doesn't matter what is true. All that matters is what people think about it, because that's, you know, the major flaw in democracy from the get-go, is that people don't know shit, and people can be misled into thinking they know shit when they actually don't, and so they'll vote based off of the shit that they don't know rather than the shit that they do know. There's no respect for competence in it. There's only respect for the anybody who appears to be competent enough, or in the very least more competent than the other guy. So that means that you can get away with just being a fake, and that's why politicians all appear to be fake, is because it's built into the system inherently. Inherently, you've got loads of people who are incompetent, but they've got to pretend as if they are competent. And so you've got the people who pretend the best, or also who bullshit the best, who promise all the free shit the best, right? And they're the ones who win, and they're only going to be there for a little while, so that they're going to be working as hard as they possibly can to make this system, to bend the system towards what they reckon it ought to be. And what that means is that you're going to have increasingly more authoritarian governance and leaders, whereas if you're going to have a leader, the least you can do is have a leader who's going to become decreasingly authoritarian, and that's what you get in the case of monarchism. Like little bit of a tidbit here, in draconian society, you know, we had a fair bit of tyrannies, and we originally had loads of tribes, and then they got united under a single tyranny, and that was a bloody disaster, literally a bloody disaster. Loads of people died, right? So then we had the next regime, effectively, it was a feudalist sterearchy, is what it's called. It's not really a term that's ever existed, but it's because rather than having a you know, tribal queens all over the place, which is how it was before there was a tyranny, you had one single king and queen ruling together, and well, primarily queen, because it's a matriarchal society, right? And the two of them are ruling together, which is like, you know, radical shit already, in comparison to what came before. And also, dragons are immortal, if you didn't know. So they live forever, unless they are killed, as is, you know, basically what immortal means. So because they live forever, there's an incredible stability in that, because you're looking forward into the future as far as you possibly can. And so the entire thing is like, okay, we need this society to be as absolutely stable as it can possibly be. And part of the way that we do that is... Well, it began as a federated absolute sterearchy, which is, like, again, not really a term you've ever heard before, but it eventually dissolved a bit, where rather than this federated... well, because it was I think it maybe originally it was a defined as a federated monarchy, but like that was a transitioning period where it's like, okay, now the king actually can do things to the same level as the queen, and rather than a bunch of tribal queens, and a lot of the tribal queens remained on within the feudalist system, as like nobles, you know, because that's how feudalism tends to work. But they went from there on, and goodness, what is it? You've got all of these people who are kind of in it for the long run. There's still like sort of the element that the state is, you know, absolute in many ways. So like that's a difficult sort of thing to grow out of. But draconian society is very apt towards anarcho-capitalism, because of the way that our genetic structure works. There's a lot of sharing going on, let's say. So eventually, in the same way that genes breed and are shared, ideas breed and are shared, and I think when you begin decentralizing things, you end up getting a lot closer to this total decentralized what is it, consent-based ethics. So anyway, bit of a tangent there, but what is Zootopia? Zootopia is like bloody centrism right here. Probably somewhere more along the lines of social liberalism, where they steal things from people for equality's sake. But it's somewhere in here. Violation warning. I already saw that. It's somewhere. So it's a democracy, but it's probably somewhere around here. Bloody Obama's Zootopia, right? Somewhere over in that zone. They've got a pretty decent amount of free market shite, but they've got a state, clearly. It's actually kind of interesting because you don't hear much about, outside of Zootopia, you don't really hear much about the state that they live under. They've got a city, and it's governance on the city level. So it's either that they live in some sort of a what do you call it? Some sort of a state that has something like the United States of America, right? A federalist system, probably. But yeah, anyway, was it like that when wait? What if the monarch is evil? Well, that's part of the issue. But even if the monarch is evil, then his rule is incredibly unstable. Like the bloody a pox on the phony King of England, right? Like you haven't got a stable like this is a very anthropologically true thing. Is like when you've got a tyrant, tyrannies. The law of the jungle, the brute ethic is not stable. Your entire society is going to rebel against you, and then you'll be remembered as the shit one, right? So you can violate people's rights in the interim, but it's going to renound against your benefit in the end. Especially if you were really kind of supposed to have a low time preference, and that's the beauty of monarchism, is that it actually incites it's a civilizing tendency because it encourages a low time preferences, whereas a democracy is a decivilizing tendency because it encourages a high time preference. So bro lived in Pyria. No. Pyria. I still don't know how to say it. Diarrhea. Was it like that when Abe Lincoln was president? Yes, absolutely. The exact same issue was that. I mean, Abe Lincoln was an incredibly authoritarian president. It's just he did it on the idea that individualism is important, and anti-slavery, anti-collectivism was a good thing. So it was kind of mixed because he used the state in order to do that. Take me to Dragonland Rain. I want to see all the dragon milfs. Why? Anyway, synthesis anarchism. Let's move on. Synthesis anarchism is the anarchist synthesis is also known simply as the synthesis, or by its earlier name, united anarchism is an organizational principle that seeks unity in diversity. That's interesting. Aiming to bring together anarchists of different tendencies into a single federation. Developed mainly by the Russian anarchist Volin and the French anarchist Sébastien Faure, this anarchist synthesis was designed to appeal to communists, syndicalists, and individualists alike. It's because it's like gotta put it like right up next to. It's kind of interesting, like, to be putting it next to monarchism, because it's basically just anarchism, but it's like, okay, everyone who doesn't want rulers, you can do that, but only if you're in consenting syndicates or communes or whatever. There's, you know, no like you can violate rights insofar as it's within a consenting agreement. I guess it's like as long as everybody agrees to leave each other alone within their own groups, then you're cool. Which is it's a good good principle inherently, because it's basically just anti-statism. Whereas these guys are like, I don't like the state, but I also don't like anybody who is remotely successful, and I wish that they would die. It's anti it's anti-government, but it's also anti-hierarchy per se, and that's why it's anti-government, is because the government is a hierarchy. It's like anti-hierarchy per se, which is not correct. It's like anti-rulers. It's just depending on what you define a ruler to be, you may end up in this category, the cringe category, but the base category belongs up here. Third way, I forget that. It's got Clinton and whoever the hell. Predominantly centrist political position that attempts to reconcile center-right and center-left politics by synthesizing a combination of economically liberal and socially democratic economic policies. Bill Clinton, who I know him. Tony Blair, I know him. Jean Chrétien and Gerard Schroeder. Yeah, it's pretty shit. Probably right up alongside centrism. Yeah, probably something like that. Titoism. Tito was the Yugoslavia. He's a commie. Why was he bad? Okay, yeah, it's largely, yeah, socialist workers, self-management, political separation from the Soviet Union, leadership with a non-aligned movement. We're not aligned. Which is why we're together, making a movement. Why'd they call it that? Yes. Titoism as a separate ideological line does not exist. Should Titoism become an ideological line, we would become revisionists. We would have renounced Marxism. We are Marxists. I am a Marxist, and therefore I cannot be a Titoist. So it's just another flavor of commie. Cool. You belong at the very bottom. No, not as bad though, because he didn't kill as many people. Trotskyism. So Trotsky is like Marxism. Trotsky is evangelical Marxism. It's literally, we must, Marxism is correct, and therefore we must spread it. So we have to evangelize everybody into Marxism, worldwide, global Marxism, spread it about everywhere. And it's kind of funny because, like, communism is supposedly a stateless, classless society, and that's what anarcho-communism is, but it's like Marx wasn't really an anarchist. Not really. Like, I don't know. It's kind of interesting to think about. Anyway, Trotsky is literally just Marx, except he wants to spread it around the world. That makes it difficult. He got BTFO, so didn't have the chance to do much. There we are. We've done it all. That's a bloody lot. That's a lot of it, but that's basically it. I think that's pretty good. I think that's pretty succinct. Individualism based hierarchy, based insofar as we're talking about competence and a consensual affair, though, obviously there's things, it's like, I didn't consent to you being better at this thing than me. It's like, okay, yeah, you know what you could do in that situation is cry about it, actually. Blood, they probably have huge boobs and butts. Dragon milfs, huge boobs and butts. Interesting. I'll let you think that. And are wise and old. That's interesting. Don't know why you'd want that. And warm and cuddly. If they see me as their treasure, and they see me as theirs and will protect me and hug me all night. You missed Kirkism. Charlie Kirk is like Paleocon. Let's look at this. Charlie Kirk is he's not Bush. He's not Ron Paul. He's probably just a little bit further in this direction than maybe further in this further in this direction than Ben Shapiro. So he's just right in there with neoconservatism. Probably it's probably around where he's at, though there is not really any Kirkism. It's not really a thing. Kirktism. Yep. Yeah, I mean that's basically it though. That's about all we need. I reckon. Anyhow, I'm gonna Kirk you. Goodness. Don't do that. Don't do that. Yeah, I guess I don't think I have much to say. I'll probably put this up as a Draconian discourse. I kind of hate putting him in the same VOD, but you know, it's whatever. That was pretty fun indeed. But yeah, I've ran out of things to say. Azure, what is your verdict on this one? What do you reckon? You don't post on your edited video YouTube channel anymore. Yep, I haven't the time. The main channel is dead. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, how long have I gone without well, not without posting, but without yeah, that's fucking incredible. It's been nearly 2 years. 2024-0624, Rainy's Rambles Scrambles. Been on my desktop for 2 fucking years. Pretty incredible. Because that's Rainy's Rambles belongs on main channel. It kind of doesn't, but I mean, that's the thing, is that even if it's not like fantastic content, it's still content. I'd love to get back into some of the ideas that I wanted to explore in video format, but alas, you know. White girls, my favorite. What do you mean? Why is that the first thing your mind goes to when you see that? They're woofs. They're woof. A woof. And it's the bi femboys and the gay femboys having a grand old time, and there's the straight femboys who hate themselves. It's pretty good. The original thing that you said to this was, why are they all anime girlified, and why do they have huge bonongas, or whatever you said? What do you think of the content, though? The content of the character, the content of the meme. I made a meme along this same lines. You know, I actually never made that a meme of the day. Perhaps I would have if I, goodness, would it be faster to get to my bloody DeviantArt where I posted this? Yeah, let's do that. There it is. Bloody laughing at the geriatric. Pretty good. Pretty good. This was fun. This is like when I was first just barely Well, no, I wasn't just barely learning Blender. I was just a couple months into to working on Blender full time. Working in Blender full time. I don't actually work on the application. These three are actually you, me, and Malgrew. That's kind of true. That's kind of true. I think straight femboys have a bit of a tough time compared to the other two. Yes. An oppressed minority, indeed. The least thought of. Yes. They also don't exist very much. That is to say that they're rare. But, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I'd love to actually finish this video. It's kind of nuts to think that it's been that long since I originally sanctioned it out. Shite. Let's actually check. Wait, shut up, bloody Firefox. I didn't mean to click that. My channel. Let me see my channel. 1 year ago, which means what? Is it exactly 1 year ago, or because I had split Digressions Over Dessert, that Rainy's Rambles, in November 2024, March 2025. So only a year, only just a year, which isn't so bad. So I guess I split it off. I split it off quite a while ago, so it would seem. I still have that video, Racial Collectivism. Oh wait, no, it's unlisted. I didn't realize it was unlisted. May 4th, 2020. Why did I unlist that one? I actually don't recall. That's interesting. This meme is the reverse King Ghidorah. What does that mean? I haven't watched this video in a long time. Okay, yeah, so you'll be able to see just how different my voice is by comparison. Is it going to be very different?
So about a month ago, I left a comment on a video called Black Conservatives Debate Black Liberals on American Politics, extended version. One of the points many of these black conservatives were making...
This is just, like, it's so odd because my voice is so much deeper, but I was an adult back then, and I'm an adult, I'm an adult now. I don't know why my voice got so much deeper. Like, I don't know what happened. Because not much has changed. Like, at least I don't reckon much has changed. Yeah, what is King Ghidorah? King Ghidorah mean? 2 serious heads, 1 silly? Holy moly, why bro got that shit on? What happened to the jacket? It's in my closet. No, I don't know. I actually don't know why I chose to retire it. It's actually very interesting to think about. Yeah, I don't know. I like how the bitrate is just absolutely shite.
Was that some amount, too large amount of the racism they experienced was at the hands of other black people telling them they weren't black enough due to their political opinions. I left this comment, you can probably...
Oh, my fucking profile picture is absolute shite. The "you're not black enough" idea is most definitely racist, because it assumes that all black people must think exactly the same, so when any break ranks, they no longer fulfill the requirements to truly be black. Why not let people think what they want and forget about race for a moment? The individualist point. See, I was not a principled individualist, but
if you like. But the main point is that telling someone that they're not black enough for their political opinions is inherently racist, and that we should generally leave race out of the realm of debate. Remember that, because I'm going to bring it up later. I left this comment...
I'm wondering if... I don't know, because like the way that I pronounce goodness words is like changed as well. like maybe it's just because I've gotten like more lazy, or I don't know, but like I was like very prim and proper. I'm very prim and proper. But I'm also like stumbling because like I'm like not terribly good at like doing things. I don't know. Bro's in a wormhole. Scottish rain. What do you mean? There's nothing Scottish about what I'm saying. How do your wings go through it? Hole.
Not really thinking that many people would see it, which isn't generally a good mindset. You should only make comments for the purpose of people reading them, otherwise you may end up saying something regrettable. The comment actually caught on pretty well. I got many people replying in hearty agreement, many who disagreed, or otherwise wanted to have some sort of debate or discussion, and I'd like to talk a little about that today. One person really missed the point.
I'd like to talk a little about that today. It sounds better when I say it today because my voice is deeper. And I'd like to talk a little bit about that today. Yes. Why did I sound like that?
A comment: I support Trump and I'm blacker than y'all. The point was to not tell other people that their racial identity is invalid due to their political opinions, right or left. Overall, it's not a very individualist thing to say. Another says, it's wrong but it's not racist. How can you be racist amongst your own people? It's excluding people and shutting out individualism, but it's not racist. Now, I think the definition of racism is lost on many people. There are many definitions, but I think I'll go with Merriam-Webster's. Racism is a belief that race is the primary determinant of human traits and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. Or simply,
particular race. I don't even know how I'm pronouncing that.
Traits and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race.
Particular race. Inherent superiority of a particular race. There's like just the way that I said that is just very different from the way that I say things now. I don't know if I could. I want to repeat that so badly. This makes me want to just end the TikTok stream so I can say it. I don't want to get banned again for saying bad words. I'm doing it. I'm ending the TikTok stream just so I can say it. Goodbye, TikTok, forever. Fuck you. It's been... Error occurred? What do you mean an error occurred? Did it end? I can't tell if it ended. Does it do something when... Wait a minute. Faggot rain. Okay, I said it. I don't know. I don't know if it's goodness.
Differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race.
Or
simply,
race.
Prejudice or discrimination based exclusively on race. I like this definition because it pretty much...
I've see, because I think maybe I was just sloppier then. Maybe I was like, I don't know, because the way that I pronounce things just gets like garbled by whatever's in my mind at the time. So maybe it's because I was like watching a lot of Pyrocynical at the time, because like he uses the soft T stop. I forget what you call that. There's a word for that, but it's like when you go like when you go faggot. Right, rather than faggot, and I prefer the latter. But I did
simply prejudice or discrimination based exclusively on race. I like this definition because
I like this definition. I don't say that. It's not a thing that I say. I think I must have been listening to like Pyrocynical or something. That's just like no, you're like you've been infected by the bad accent. Don't do it.
Pretty much covers all bases. So yes, saying that black people can't have certain political opinions is racist, no matter the race of who says it, because that statement discriminates purely because of race. I think there's a spectrum, even in the replies in this comment section. There are reasonable, intelligent people on the right and the left. Just the same, there are unreasonable people on both sides, and then there are stupid people. Someone leaves two...
It's kind of funny. I just don't even believe that at all anymore. Like maybe I was... I don't know, because I was more aligned with like conservatism, I think, at this point in time. American conservatism in particular. I had a bit of a bout there, like a very patriotic little bit there. And I think it's just because like individualism is kind of the basis of America in many ways, but like it wasn't for any principled reason necessarily. Well, I don't know. Maybe it was principled, but I didn't understand the principles. I hadn't integrated them, and You are what you consume. I consume faggots, apparently. No, I consume pyro. I consume fat fetishists, evidently. Now you have the Obi-Wan accent, apparently. I don't know, evidently.
Consecutive comments.
But, like, no, I definitely don't believe that at all. Like, I don't think there are reasonable people on the left because I'm an extremist now. Like, I don't know. Ayn Rand has a good bit on extremism, but it's like, I take a principled stance. If that's what you call extremism, then, like, you're nonsense, you know? You're nonce. But, like, yeah, I definitely don't believe that there are, like, reasonable people on the right and the left. I think like, the principle I was embracing with reasonableness was one of, like, I don't know. Goodness, this upscaler from what is it called? The After Effects. This upscaler is totally bad. I am reasonable. I can reason with you. That doesn't make you reasonable. The ability to speak does not make you intelligent.
It's not racism, it's colorism. It's not racism, it's prejudice. Just as the definition of the term states, prejudice based on race is indeed racism. I fail to see how people conclude that racism isn't a certain type of prejudice, and a very nasty one at that. So you've got the spectrum of intelligent, unreasonable, and stupid people on either side. This bloke I'm about to talk about is none of those things. He's the bottom of a brain meme. He is absolutely ascended. He is on another plane of existence. As many people do,
I may have actually thought that this delivery was, like, decent back in the day. I think I may recall having a good time making this. I did not make this one in Resolve. This one was definitely in Premiere. Bloke, yeah. I don't really say that anymore. Wait a minute, I actually watched this video. I remember this. No, did you really? Oh, like, long time ago, because it would have been public at the time. Let's see if you're in the comments. This is the unlisted link, so you could look it up if you really wanted to type it in. Where were you when the lounging podcast dropped? That was fun. Oh yeah, DJ. I remember DJ. If you look on my very first YouTube streams, he's on there. Yeah, I guess you were in the comments, but maybe you never saw, like, I swear I thought I remember seeing you in comments, but maybe it was just, like, seeing you in comment section. I'm probably just remembering you on the, like, the VOD archive channel. I mean, like, recently-ish, when I first started watching you, that they weren't up then. Like, they didn't exist. Like, it was unlisted. It was down. It still is. What do you mean cap? I took it down in, like, bloody 2023 or something. There's no cap about that. I'm calling it. What do you mean? This is all that I had up on this. Like, I may talk about some related things in these videos. Goodness, why is it the quality of these thumbnails is, like, so shite? Why, like, just JPEG compression or some shite? Why did they blow up the thumbnails that, like, limit the size thereof? They're so bad looking. Like, I can't tell if they're compressed or low, like, just low quality. It's kind of shite. You can see the rainy N in the background there. Well, it's hard when you can't see the thing. I remember the ascended bit. No, this can't be. Really? I don't know. That's interesting if you actually ended up seeing it at some point.
Fails to see that racism is a type of prejudice, but also doesn't want to call it racism. Here's the callback I set up earlier. Isn't that just a type of prejudice?
Racist, bias to prejudice. What is attitude and or spirit? Why do we not end this racism quote-unquote thing and look at it as I do, being all are human beings? Can we simply say some have biased perceptions and feelings, moral ethical dissonance regarding things in general? Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, that's a terrible point. Like, it's called racism because they're discriminating based off of race. like being not necessarily being biased, but being prejudiced, or like it's like, well, why can't we ditch the racism thing? Because it's like an important categorical distinction. It's what they're discriminating based off of. Like, it's an important categorical distinction.
But also doesn't want to call it racism. Here's the callback I set up earlier. Isn't that just a YouTuber thing to do? Anyway, I find it funny that he says, why do we not end this racism thing? When I ended my initial comment by suggesting that we leave race out of it. I reckon there's an imbalance in the political sphere that we really...
In the political sphere. I don't know. Like, I can't mimic it, but it's just not the way that I speak.
That we leave race out of it. I reckon there's an imbalance in the political sphere that we really ought to find common ground on for once. On the left, many see it prudent to call absolutely everything racist, when in reality there's a much better conclusion to be made and we should simply apply Occam's razor. Because the left decides to behave like this, there's some pushback on the right. That's
me. I've been applying Occam's razor since 2020, or before. Been using that a lot. I think you looked at this video on another video of yours. Maybe I did. Maybe I did at some point or another. I'm going to end this racism thing. Do it.
Where we hesitate to admit that something is racist when it absolutely is.
Oh, you know, it may have been on a Discord call or something. Like, I may have pulled it up on no, because I had it up in like Premiere or something like that. It may have been on a stream. I don't know.
Everything is racist, but some things are. Your agenda shouldn't supersede your willingness to call out injustice if it exists, so long as your intent is to maintain egalitarianism, which many people are unwilling to embrace anyway. I
was okay with egalitarianism. I was okay with that. No, I don't give a shit. Egalitarianism in what sense? Because I think back then I actually assumed that egalitarianism meant like just negative rights, like equal rights, and it's just like, oh yeah, equality before the law type of shit. But I think I didn't understand that it has like collectivist premises in it. It's like, it's about equality of outcome, not about equality of opportunity. Very different things. And not equality of opportunity in the sense that like you ought to be given shite, you know? I just don't think I understood that. Anyway.
To one reply, which states, not having a collective identity hurts us, a point with which I vehemently disagree, but in the same breath implies that nobody should believe me because I'm white. I don't know where people get the idea that I'm white, despite the fact I'm obviously purple.
True.
In all seriousness,
it's true.
I'm not black, but the sentiments expressed in my comment are reflected by some black people. Simply read the replies and you'll see that not all...
Well, it is actually kind of funny that someone would assume that based on what I'm saying there, that I'm white, and based off of absolutely nothing else. It's like that's odd. That's actually very odd, because like the entire point that I was making is that like, hey, people who disagree, people who don't have like, people who disagree with you when you say not having a collective identity hurts us. People who disagree with that can also be black, but he assumes that, I don't know, that's just collectivism in and of itself, is that the individual is fundamentally powerless without the group, and thus individuals should only form groups, and individuals are only useful insofar as they can form groups, and then they can go around beating people. It's like, great. What a great fucking philosophy.
But there are some black people who agree with me. This comment is very telling because it shows that collectivism pits groups against each other. Assuming that I'm white because I said something individualist is the exact problem that I was calling out in my original comment. This person assumes that a true black person would never think something like that, which is bullshit.
Yeah, it's... I mean, I don't even have to point it out because I already pointed it out 6 years ago, evidently. That hoodie is not reaching your head. That's not supposed to, necessarily. I had quite the neck at that point. You see that? Well, I actually was not bipedal at this point in time, which is very interesting.
Racist and a logical fallacy we like to call no true Scotsman. A word to the wise, don't let your racial identity overtake your ability to perceive that other people might think differently than you or people of your race. To wrap it up, noble words,
wow, the audio is shite.
Almighty leaves another blessed reply. I haven't the foggiest whether he was directing this at me or to the world at large, but he writes, you need a more sound mental construct, and then proceeds to link several Wikipedia articles. Now, I like me a good Wikipedia read, but I don't think a person with a quote sound mental construct would write such a thing even reply to a stranger on the internet, but to each their own. Overall, I mental construct would write such a
The blind leading the blind straight to the pits of hell. You want to understand life and reality, you need a more advanced thinking and observation skill. People just like make up words, don't they? You need a more advanced thinking and observation skill. What does this mean? Why are any of these words used in relation to each other? Like, it's like they're just throwing out words that generally have to do with the flavor of what they're saying, rather than actually using words that say specifically what they intend to communicate. It's like, you need a more advanced method of thinking, and your observation skills require sprucing up, like improvement, you know? Like, what is all these words like combined together? It's just like generally the idea of what you're trying to say is there, but it's not concretized at all. A more sound mental construct. You must learn to think in order for your intelligence and spiritual maturity to increase. This is very odd. This is like a very high openness person. But low conscientiousness, it seems. The metaphysics of causation. Intuitions and the metaphysics of causation. Plato, he's referring Platonism. He's referring to Platonism. It's so over. Primacy of consciousness. He's all about the primacy of consciousness. It's over. He's a retard. It's over. I hope I'm not still streaming on TikTok. Markiplier neck, yes, precisely. Buzzword, buzzword, buzzword. Perhaps English isn't their first language. No, it doesn't strike me as that. It strikes me as if they just say words. There's people whose first language is English and they just say words. They don't string them together well. They just say the words that are generally in the ballpark of what they're trying to communicate. But it leads to many funny things.
more sound mental construct, and then proceeds to link several Wikipedia articles. Now, I like me a good sound mental construct. And then
Okay, now it got suspended. Fuck! I meant to end the fucking stream! Why the fuck did you do that? Why did it just error out on fucking Restream? If I reload Restream, will it actually say that I ended the stream? No, it won't. It says that it's still streaming. What the fuck? He said a 2-syllable word. Metaphysics of causation. Intuitions in the metaphysics of causation. Correlation does not imply causality / causation. Correlation fallacy. Illusion. What does this have to do with I said? Semantic holism. Biased perception assumption only leads to hell. This person needs some Jordan Peterson. Educated in one thing is one thing. Being wise in all sciences is quite another. Wisdom is king.
Now,
this person needs some Peterson. Jordan Peterson in his life. Wisdom is life refuge.
Now, I like me a good Wikipedia read, but
yeah.
Internet, but to each their own. Overall, I think stable people generally don't let the comments of strangers get to them, but I reckon he just wanted to help someone he thought was misguided, and for that, I can't blame him. Or her. Or it. I don't really know, do I? I hope you enjoyed this fun little fireside discussion.
Yes, I did.
Don't leave the door open on your way out. You could let in a draft, and I really want to keep it cozy around here. Cheerio.
I sound so shit. I sound so fucking shit. Yeah, that was bad. Oh wait, there's a post. There's a credits. Younger Rain is cheeky. Yeah, a little bit. It's so loud.
Goodness. Never let me say Cheerio again unless I'm referring to the breakfast cereal. Anyway, I may eventually finish the video I've been working on since goodness November. Might just scrap it or rewrite it, but we'll see. Don't know if I'm busy or just lazy. Probably both. I think I'm getting better at recording. I used to put my face up too close to the mic and have the gain up too loud, but I think this is good. And it's summer now, so I might keep doing that or doing streams.
I don't like myself.
So, yeah. Who do you think you are, lagging about? Go back to your, hentai or whatever you do.
Okay.
Just I feel like... Okay.
Goodness sake. What a happy, optimistic young lad.
While I'm recording.
Oh, that was Adrian's voice, by the way. I used to have Adrian's voice set as my ringtone, and it was from a Snapchat video of him saying fish for some reason. I don't know why you said that. Fish. It's actually a pretty forceful ringtone there. Yeah, a little bit cheeky. I don't know why. Yeah, see, now it says unable to connect. I meant to fucking end it before. Like, I think it actually has to receive the end stream signal, like the end stream frame or whatever it is, and then I have to. So in order to end the TikTok stream, I have to end both, which is like just retarded. But I can say it now because I know that it's done. I didn't mean to do that because like they could actually put another fucking strike on my stupid account. I meant to end the stream, but you decided to be fucking stupid. I shouldn't have said it again without actually verifying that it wasn't live. I had a feeling that might have happened. Bullshit. Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, that was an interesting time. I remember thinking up that like hentai line. I don't know why I said, like, why did I say that? Like, I thought it was just funny. I think I was just riffing. Like, I was like, oh, this would be kind of funny if I said this. I had a very different idea of how to perform at the time. It's kind of interesting. TikTok, more like dick butt, true. Riffing and raffing. Oh yeah, there was loads of raffing. So much riffing, so much raffing. Loads of it. Loads of it. Since November. It wasn't that one. Which one was it? It's something that got shelved. I was definitely referring to something that got shelved. Because, right after that one, I did like a 4th of July video, just impromptu. And then I didn't do anything else for 3 years on that channel. So there was something else in between that. I don't know. I'm actually curious. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna see YouTube old. Happy America Day. Yeah, that was the last video I did in the old. That was the one that I'm pretty sure was actually I want to see. There it is, project.db, because it's not a DaVinci Resolve. It's not a DRP. It's just a. Yeah, that one was done in Resolve. I don't even know if I could get the editor the edit of that if I tried. I shelved it. I definitely shelved it, but I don't remember. Goodness, I don't remember what I was actually working on at that point. Wasn't that? What was I working on since November 2020? Oh wait, no, November 2019. Yeah, it was after I did the trip vlog thing. What was it? I've got a folder here called Film School Sucks. Wasn't that just true? As true as can be. November 2019. Let's see if there's anything in here. No. Yeah, I actually don't know what it was. What was I referring to? I could probably look at my screenshots. I could find that. Dragon Ball. Ball. This is such a waste of time. I should just end the stream at this point. I've been going for 4 hours. I normally don't go for that long. You know, ball. No. What do you mean, no? Am I not free yet? 2019 not 11. What was I doing at the time? It's actually kind of crazy that I've got all of these records, because even if I haven't got like exactly what my system looked like at the time, I've got the screenshots. I was still using like that old ass version of OneNote. I was on Premiere 2017, I think. Maybe it was 2018 at that point. That was pretty nuts. That was when I first discovered rags. That's pretty neat. Wow, that was a different time, wasn't it? Very different time. This is entertaining. Entertain me more, slave. Rags. Okay, first of all, not your slave. Definitely not. Yeah, rags. We love rags. There he is. Well, you can kind of see his thing there, but not really. Look, Maya. I was using shit program. Wasn't that fucking terrible? Yeah, we love rags. My bisexual awakening. Oh shit. I was working. Yeah, this was college. Oh, it was the Billie Eilish video. That's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was. That one got shelved. Yeah. I think I may have gone over that in... I definitely, like, pulled up the Premiere project at some point afterwards. Because I had made this observation that, like, around the exact same time, I made, like, this scarily similar point. Like, almost word for word to a similar point that Steven Crowder made on a podcast episode or a show episode, whatever you call it. And it was like literally like right around the same time, exact same topic, exact same point, down to the wording. I was like, that's incredibly spooky. How the hell did that happen? Like, I don't know. I thought that was pretty incredible, pretty odd. I know what kind of man you are. What do you mean, what the Sigma? Whatever do you mean by this? Yes, it was a rant. I used to call it that. Yes, rant cancelled, and there's more of them in the cancelled folder than there are in the original. Wait, no way. It was on Wii... Wait, it was the Wii U emulator? Oh, okay, so November 2020 is when I was doing the Billie Eilish video. It was on Cemu. I was working on that... Yeah, I was working on that a long time, and it's kind of remarkable because I just didn't even know how emulation worked. I didn't realize that I had shite hardware. It's kind of funny. Steven Crowder summoned his spirit into you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how he did that. You asked people to change your mind. Did it work? That's kind of funny that it was just cemu.prproj and then it's cemu2019.prproj. Open that a couple of times. Yeah, so I ended up going... Oh, so I went back... Wait, since November. 1101, but these are modified 9/28/2019. That's odd. But yeah, apparently I was working on that. Yeah, that was a time, wasn't it? That was a time. Yeah, that Billie Eilish video was going to be so aesthetically pleasing if I ever got around to finishing it. Which, of course, I never do. High industriousness, but no Adderall, and very difficult to follow through on those things. It was difficult. Billie Eilish is hot, yeah, but she's stupid. That's the thing. If you could fuck the stupid out of her, then maybe she's tolerable, but I don't think you could do that. You can't fix it. Don't stick your dick in crazy. Hot snow bunny. You only say that because she's like pasty white and she's got fat tits. Like that's the only reason you're saying that. What did she say? She said loads of retarded things over the years, but actually, I wonder if that's part of the well, I just made a realization because I'm like, okay, I said retarded on Twitch. You can get banned for saying retarded on Twitch, right? But I've never done so. I've never gotten a warning, so much as a warning from Twitch for saying it. And I'm wondering if it's because like I've never had a Twitch mod on my stream to hear me say it before. But then I realized, wait a minute, so TikTok uses AI to scrape their shit because like immediately it's like, oh no, you said the bad word, ban them, right? But but bloody, what the fuck is it? What the fuck is it? What the fuck is it? What am I thinking? Oh, right. So they actually have the time for, like, AI models to be 24/7 scraping. Like, they have the compute, the budget to have AI models constantly scraping, and auto-moderating the content on their platform. They've got the compute for that, and they dedicated to that. I wonder if the reason why they can do that is because they gatekeep the live ability. Like your ability to go live on TikTok is very difficult to actually get in to be able to go live. It's probably because of that. It's probably because they're constantly 24/7 doing it, which is probably part of the reason why minors aren't allowed on it, is because they don't, like, there's some sort of legal problem with using computer systems to automatically store and or like do anything with minors. That's very interesting to think about. She is pretty. I don't know. She's got like weird bags under her eyes. She's all right. She's all right. Nothing against her. Nothing against her except for her retardation, of course. Yeah, I just didn't even know. Yeah, I didn't know anything. So I'm glad the Simu video never came out. There were loads of things that if I had released, then it would have just been like, okay, that was kind of retarded. Like, why? Why'd you do that? What is innocent until proven guilty? All caps. ... docs. Oh shit. This was a like very quick script that I began writing out about Pyro and the and what is it? The my response, you know, that era when he had those accusations come out. Billy Eyelash, that's a gripping title. Yeah, no, it is. Innocent until proven guilty in all caps. Here, right. I never did a read of this. I never got to recording this. Throughout his total lifespan on YouTube, Pyrocynical, and as I would like to think, goodness, I can't even read it. Maybe this is why. As I would like to think, has had quite a glow up. I ought to be perfectly transparent about my bias. It's not to say that none of my points are valid, but I reckon it's important to people who know exactly where I'm coming from with this. Take it as you will. Coincidentally, I happen to be the exact same age as the accuser. Maybe parentheses, maybe say Ivory. I have made mistakes that have followed me to this day. You mentioned other men doing things. So this is not, like, this is literally like the initial vomit draft where it's sort of just like idea. Okay, move on because I just had this idea. Okay, idea, write this one down. Okay, this idea, parentheses, this is, maybe think about this thing, you know, just like tons of shit, right? You mentioned men doing things to you when you were young. It's not your fault these things happen to you, but if it's true, you knowingly withheld your age from somebody when they asked you if you were all right with sexual discussions or advances. You have no good right to accuse them of grooming or pedophilia. When it comes to my own personal persuasion as a Pyrocynical fan, if his response doesn't sit well with me, I may very well lose respect for him, as others have said. But I stand by this. Whatever I said on Discord about, quote, losing respect comes after proof. In the end, it's not up to me to forgive him. That's between him and the people he's wronged. That's between him and God. Interesting. Yeah, this was just like, just tons of ideas on the page. Very interesting. Yeah, no, that's very interesting. 11/2/2020. So that was a year after the Simu one. I guess was originally. I said since November, but this one clearly was in progress since 2019. Normally, what comes first is the script. I had a raw script, 8/3/2019, a line ready script, 7/23/2019. Yeah, this is like a lot older than that. Yeah, and I thought it was a lot older because like I definitely do remember there being more things there. Maybe I wasn't talking about that one. I definitely wasn't talking about the commentary community one. I was going to make a comprehensive video on the commentary community called... oh, actually, what was it? What was the A supposed to be? Because I remember it was going to be the issues of the current commentary community. But I had an A in there. Like, what the hell what was that supposed to be? It's just because, like, I was interested in commentary for a while, and then, I was watching commentary channels, and they started pissing me off with how fucking stupid they were. Wait, this is iDubbbz. This is a this is a screenshot from an iDubbbz video. It's called "He's Still Got Pyro Rule 63 on His Desktop. I'm Dying.png." I'm pretty sure this is okay, Sony Vegas, Photoshop, Battle.net. Is that like fucking Marillus Action or Bandicam? Pyro demo outro 1. Oh no, this is Pyrocynicals. Because this is his stream. No, that's the outro for the video. But yeah, this image, this was my profile picture on Discord for a while. I saw that. It's just like he's still got this fucking thing on his desktop. This is Pyro's, not I don't know why I thought it was bloody iDubbbz. Windows 8 Pyro animation. Fuck off alert. I need to stop like exploring old files. TeamSpeak 3, goodness sake. 2017, that was still viable. It was, but like fucking hell, it was bad. So bad. That's funny. What was the controversy? He groomed kids. Well, no. Like, that was the entire thing, is that, like, at worst, he was clumsy. Like, that is to say, he did not do his due diligence in ensuring that the people he was talking to were of age, right? And that's certainly not a good thing, but it's so much less bad than what he was actually being accused of. It's like he's not a groomer if he literally didn't know that they were, but also in cases where like he denied it multiple times or something like that. Like if you deny it, then it's like no. Like that's just somebody evading, and that's a crime. And in the same sense, like, you know, when you've got your responsibility in that sort of a case, that's also evasion. That's also bad. Clearly. But anyway, Pyro no, Fem Pyro, sweat particles. Goodness. How much Rule 63 was there of fucking Pyrocynical? It's this one. This image was just unspeakably funny to me for some reason. like a long time. Pretty chubby too. God, indeed. 10 hours ago. Oh, okay. No! No! What did you do? You let your dog... No way. That's insane. Collector's edition as well. I've still got 2. One of them I got for free because the... Oh, I don't want to risk that. No. I need to end the... Oh, right, that's what I clicked for. Because I saw that. Yeah, that's probably not a good idea. Not fat enough. No, that's plenty. That's plenty. I'm not sending it. I'm not showing it on stream. It's a bad idea. I just know if there was a button that changes the agenda, most of the pressers would be men. Yeah, probably. Which is actually kind of interesting. Actually, no, when you think about it, there are plenty of women who would just become rapists, right? There's plenty of women who just be like, hell yeah, I've never spent a single day in my life with this much testosterone in my body, and it turns out I don't know how to deal with it because it basically is going to be the same amount of rage that I have on my period, except times 10 every single day of my life. Mate, what? Yeah, see, you didn't quite get the connect the lines there. You know what women are like when they get on testosterone? They're just like blah, 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 blah. They're just like this feels good. They just become evil instantly because they don't know how to handle it. They've gone their entire lives with the very, just bare minimum amount of testosterone. And then they get bloody testosterone caused male pattern baldness, and then it's over for them. It's not good. Spider-Man, yes, precisely. The symbiote. That's what testosterone is. It's a symbiote. It helps you out. It's there for you. It helps you stand up for yourself and all that shit. But it's torture. Unrelenting torture, right? You just get so angry all the time, Anyway, I need to leave. I need to be done with streaming because I've gone past the fucking deadline. Deadline? Is there a deadline? I don't know. Bye. It's Jova. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a good time. Been a good time. Good time. And what does estrogen do? It makes them soft and squishy. like generally speaking, that's just what estrogen does. It makes you soft and squishy as a human in this sexually dimorphic species. But if you're a male and you get estrogen, it gives you cancer. So don't do that. I forgot where the mute button is.